The next section is about creating goals. This is where you can set goals in all 7 areas of life, and these goals are in alignment with your identity. So it's very important that your goals, they're almost like the next level down on the identity evolution cycle. So if you think about what a goal is, well, a goal can be anything really. You can set goals in any area of life, and that might be a project, it might be a business. It's something that's measurable. You could say it's a result. How big should my goals be? Well, your goals want to be ambitious enough so that they challenge you, but they don't want to be too ambitious. So an example of a really over-ambitious goal might be, I'm going to learn to be an astronaut and I'm going to fly to the moon in 3 months. Now that is not really achievable. Not saying it could never be done, but chances are, it's got to be achievable. Also, as part of setting these goals, we're going to create an action plan, which is a set of actions, a list of steps of how you can achieve that result. It's not a to-do list, and we'll explain that. It's a list of possible ways to achieve that result. So if you're ready, we'll move on to the categories of personal development. So the categories of personal development is the 7 areas of life. So if we look at the next page, we've got what's called the life harmony model. Now the life harmony model is one of the most important parts of the journal. This is also available as a free download. Once you buy the journal, it's on the resources section. At the very start of the journal, there's a QR code and a URL link. You can download a life harmony model, a bigger version, which you can create a vision board and put it up in your kitchen so you can see it every day and track progress. This life harmony model has all 7 areas of life, which are physical. When we think about physical, this is anything about your health, your fitness, including your diet. It's very, very important. I consider this to be almost like the catalyst for any improvement. I think if you're not healthy, or even if you're doing okay, if you got healthier, you could always perform better. Your brain thinks better, you think sharper. Mindset is the next one. So this is basically having a good mindset. So it's like state management, your motivation, your focus, having the mindset to actually carry out your goals. The next one is spiritual. This covers all religions, if you're religious, or if you're practicing things like meditation, mindfulness, or developing a spiritual identity to help you on your journey. The next area is relationships. This covers both personal relationships, family relationships, romantic relationships, professional relationships, because relationships are everything really. We have to communicate with people, and this is how we get things done. The next one is financial. So this is where you'll learn a little bit more about yourself in terms of what you want to achieve in terms of your skills, your time, which is the most important thing in life, and also your wealth earning potential. Now, I want to caveat here that it's not about money. Everyone has a different approach to money. We don't all need the same amount of money. You only need the amount of money to service the life that you desire. So this differs for everyone. It's more about being comfortable for the lifestyle that you have rather than an amount of money. The next one is occupational. So this is obviously whether you're studying, stay-at-home mom, whether you're a volunteer, or you've got a business, or you've got a career or something like this. This is what is your occupation, and increasing the effectiveness of your occupation. And then lastly there we've got lifestyle. So this is all about living life on your terms, which is, if you've listened to any of my other videos on my YouTube channel, I always talk about this a lot because I think it's super important. We can have any lifestyle that we desire, but it's always best if you choose it, and living life on your terms. And that is when we tend to be more content in life, whether that includes travel, whether that includes a particular hobbies or identity or something like this. That is all up to you, but make sure it's your life that you choose. So what we do with the life harmony model is, you can see here on the example that we're filling it out. If you imagine in the middle, you've got like a scale as an axis on each of these 7 areas. And you're going to mark yourself off between 0% and 100%. And don't worry too much about this. Just put a mark along each axis where you see yourself. And you'll generally know if there's an area of your life that's lacking. You know, if, let's say, you're a workaholic and you've not been on holiday for 5 years, you might mark yourself down in lifestyle. You'll know that, and that's fine. Similarly, if you've not in a romantic relationship and you want to be, or maybe something like that, then you might want to mark that lower. And the idea of this is just to give you a bit more clarity and honesty about where you are. It's a radar chart where you can quickly see where you can make some progress. So the whole idea of completing the life harmony model is that you can see the gaps and where you might want to create some goals. Now, there are some people that are happy with being a bit one-dimensional, you know, going back to the workaholic. If all you care about is your career, then you want to score very highly in occupational, and that's fine. You know, you might sacrifice other areas like relationships and lifestyle for that career. That is absolutely fine. That's your choice. However, if you're the sort of person that wants a bit more of a balance, then you don't need to score highly in every single area. Maybe you're aiming for, say, 60% minimum across the board, and that's really good. If you were ever to get somewhere around about 80% in all 7 areas, I think you'd be really winning there. I think that'd be really good. So have a go, mark it out, and then once you've done that, on the left-hand side, write down the areas of focus where you think you need to address of those 7 areas. What areas would you like to create some goals and make some changes? And then on the right of that, just put under ideal goal and result in this area, just write something down. What would you like to see? This is just about creating ideas, right, for your goals. And once you've filled that out, we're going to go on to the next section, which is about actually creating your goals now. And achieving a goal, a big goal, takes time. It's about consistency, and there are generally 2 ways to do that. You've got small repeatable habits. These are just the things that you do every day, whether that's getting up early, exercising every day, reading every day, whatever that might be. They are small repeatable habits that you don't really need to create goals, and they're just about consistency. And the second thing is the non-repeatable tasks that relate directly to your goals. These are your project items that you're going to do. So how much should you spend on each day on your goals? This is something that I talk about a lot on my YouTube channel. So I always say that you should do just 3 small tasks per day. And why do I say 3 small tasks per day? Because yes, you may be able to do 10 things in a day, but if you try to do something consistently every day, it's hard enough trying to do 3. Right, so thinking that you can do 10, yes, you can still do 10 things in a day, but it's hard enough to do 3 things consistently. And that's why I always say, write down every day in your journal the top 3 things that you want to achieve that day, and then everything else is a bonus. How long does it take to achieve your goals? Well, you know, it depends on how ambitious they are. Goals can stretch for a month, 6 months, 12 months, multiple years, but every goal can be broken down into manageable steps, and usually you would achieve some success within your first 6 months of a big goal. In terms of goals, we like to use SMART goals to measure them. This is an acronym for specific. Make your goals specific and narrow enough so that they can easily be measured and planned, right? The next is measurable. Make sure you can measure them. So they need to be defined so you can actually measure them. Make sure your goals are achievable. That goes back to, it's got to be something, it wants to be challenging, but it's got to be something that you can actually achieve. And then make sure your goals are relevant. So they've got to be relevant to the life harmony model. They've got to be relevant to your identity that you've set for yourself, your values, your identity, and your long-term aspirations. And then make sure they're time bound. We want to actually achieve these. So if you set, say, a target of 6 months, make sure you've got a time on it and you're working towards those goals. let's have a look at filling out the goals. Here we can see some examples of the goals. We've got two examples. The top one is more of a professional goal. This is like a work business goal. The bottom one is a personal goal because that's related to taking the family on holiday. This journal lasts 6 months, so you can set goals for any area of your life there. The bottom one would obviously be relationships. The top one would be obviously occupational or maybe financial. So the way to fill these out is first, step one, start by entering a goal ID at the top, which is, as you can see, the top goal is ID number 1, and then fill out the goal. And this has got to be a result. Remember, it has to be measurable. So here we've got make £50,000 in sales in 6 months. That is very, very measurable and very, very specific. Everyone can understand that. The next is to create a task. We're going to write down these tasks here, and you're going to first fill out a letter for each task. So as you can see here, the first line under the tasks, under how can I best achieve my goal, you've got task A, right? We're going to say, estimate it takes 6 hours to do. The units in terms of measurements, you can use whatever you want. And written down, create a compelling offer, right? So if we just write down all of the things that we think we need to do, remember, this is not a to-do list. These are a menu of items of how to achieve that result, which is your goal. How do we achieve making £50,000 in sales in 6 months? So where we've got item A, it takes 6 hours, and the item is create a compelling offer. And then we've got item B, 24 hours, create a website that is SEO, optimized. SEO stands for search engine optimization. Item C, item D, item E. The time, you can use whatever you want. Here we're using hours. It's your units, it's for you. And the important thing is we're going to circle the tasks that are considered must do. So in terms of achieving the goal, as we can see, in this example, the goal has been achieved without ticking off every line. So C hasn't been achieved. And that is because it's not a to-do list. Once you achieve that goal, these are possible ways to achieve that goal. You might need 1 of them, you might need 2 of them, 3 of them. Here, it's took 4 of the 5 items to achieve that goal. So the 50K or £50,000 in sales was achieved without sending the email campaign. If it needed that extra push of the email campaign, that's what would be done. That's what you'd have to tick as well. Down at the bottom there, we've got the second example of a goal is a personal goal. And you can see here, take my family on holiday to Italy. And the bottom 3 are must-do items. And the goal has not been achieved yet. Because obviously the person needs to book time off work, book the flights and communicate details to family. Once the goal is achieved, you just tick it off and you stop doing the items. So the instructions, by the way, are on half on page 30 and half on page 32. So you'll have to flip. If you've got your journal with you, you can flip backwards and forwards. Right, okay, after the examples, now it's time to create your goals. So there are actually space to create 6 goals. However, I would always advise creating 3 or 4 max goals to start with and make only 1 or 2 of them a primary goal. And the reason for that is as you work through the journal, it lasts 6 months, you're going to come up with other goals, or you might come up with other goals that you might need to do. You need a bit of space. That's why there's 6, but I wouldn't work on 6. I would focus on maybe 3 or 4 and make only 1 of them, possibly 2 of them, a primary goal. So you've got a primary goal, and you might choose something work related, business related as a primary goal, or you might be renovating a house and make for the family and make that your primary goal, and then maybe make a secondary goal, fitness or something like this, or health related. Maybe you're going to start the gym, or you're going to start running or something like this. That's a good secondary goal.